This is the story of Fine Young, which we built in 2013 and sold it in 2016. When it all starts, and when it all starts with passion, you have to rub your passion to other people. Because you're convincing them to leave their jobs and to get onto your boat. Basically, अगर मैं हिंदी में बोलूँ तो आप उनको एक सोने की अंडा देने वाली मुर्गी बेच रहे हो, जो कभी ना कभी जाके अंडा देगी, आज कल परसों किसी को नहीं पता. But what people are coming on with you is your passion, because nobody knows the business like you. It might run, it might not run. And similarly, even the investors for that matter, the only reason they are investing in you is because of your passion, because of who you are. Because 9 out of 10 companies change their business plans along the way. Be it all the top startups of India or abroad, they have never stuck to their paper plans. So it's always about the people, how good of a driver you are and how good of a convincer you are. That, okay, I am starting this is what I'm going to solve. We'll be there in 3, 4, 5 years, and this is why I need you. So if you're able to convince good people around you, that makes all the difference. And also you should do a reality analysis of yourself. That these are the 10 things, and 8 I'm very, very weak in. But these 2 I'm solid in. I don't need anybody telling me how to do these 2. But I need a really, really good team to help me do these 8 things. So who are those people who are better than you in those 8 things, and reach out to them, talk to them, and even if you are the CEO or the startup guru, be ready to listen to them, because they are coming in with advice. So whenever we were having our discussions at Findia or whichever company I work with, I never say yes or no to a person right here. I always take my time, go home, sleep over a problem, come back the next day, and then say, yes, yeah, tu theek kya kiya, I was wrong. So, when it comes to building teams and, going ahead with teams, it's very, very important that I becomes we. So, it's not that I am starting it, we are starting it, we have a team, we have to do this. So, your passion has to really, really rub onto everybody else, and because it's not a Lala company कि लाला जी आज बैठे हैं तो मैं 5 बजे तक ऑफिस में हूँ, लाला जी नहीं है तो मैं निकल जाऊँगा. I have walked into my office and I have seen people working there, and I was like, dude, go home, it's late. नहीं सर ये हमें आज खत्म करना है, we have to do this. And that is the time when you really get goosebumps. That damn it, this is the right guy I picked, and this is because where we are right now. So invest in team, talk to people, find out about their background, find out about who they are. So whenever I get a resume or if I'm taking an interview, and never look at what his degrees are, I always talk to the people. I always ask them, what have the life experiences been? If you are studying in Jaipuria, for example, why Jaipuria? What made you come here? So what has been your thought process? What has been your learning experiences? Because no matter what the degree a person holds, what life teaches you is the biggest lesson, and that's what a great team brings on board. So that has been my learning.
You got to find the right people with the right passion who can support you and even run areas which you might not have expertise in. Sanjala, the question is how do we get these people, and they don't share the dream yet, yeah, right? For them it's a startup, very risky company to work with. Might go down. How do we get those people in? Do we give them money, stock option, fun time, as there somebody said, enjoyment in the office?
Okay, I'd like to begin answering this question with a different approach. There's a startup. Let's talk about Cashflow. I'm working at Cashflow right now as a marketing manager. For me, my job is a mini startup inside that startup, and that's what you've got to find in the person. You need to find somebody who takes ownership of that particular challenge or that particular channel. For me, Cashflow is, yes, an entity, right, somewhere there. But for me, my startup is my marketing channel. How am I improvising on it? How am I making a change? And for me, that is my startup. Cashflow, yes, obviously is one, but that is my baby, and I'm gonna nurture it to the point where my founders think, or when I was, running a company, or I still am, if I put myself in their shoes, I think that yes, this person can be given that ownership. Now answering to your question, how do you find such people? I'm again going to piggyback on Rajat's point. To find these people, you need to talk to them. And that is the only way. No amount of entertainment in the world, no amount of money in the world can convince a person to share somebody's passion. I don't agree with that. Maybe for 2 months, for 2 years, for 20 years, but after a point of time, the person actually needs to share their passion. And to do that, you need to talk to that person. You need to motivate them in the correct way. And you know what? Howsoever good a person is at their job, I mean, you know, XYZ brand ka marketing manager, I need a manager, I'm offering him twice the salary that he was being offered there, is not the right fit for my firm. But a person who actually wants to make a difference and loves the subject that much will make a difference. And that he might do in, I don't know, salary compared to peanuts. So it's not the money, it's not the entertainment, it's just, you know, knowing the person in and out. And that's what makes and builds a startup. People go, people come. But you know what? A startup is that mother which has given birth to you, has now let you go out. And you still remember that mother, that, oh yes, this is what gave me my identity. So you know, you need to find those sort of people, and that can just come by talking, just interacting with them.
Sadhula says to be an entrepreneur, you have to hire other entrepreneurs pretty much. Difficult job. We're running short of time, so what I'm going to do, we're going to direct the remaining two questions, which is on profit and money, to our other colleagues. I had a hell of a time trying to raise money for Lorato, and I talked to investors. कि आप तो सबको पैसे बांट रहे थे. And there would be news, somebody's funding somebody, and then when we went out last year, they said, Nikhil, 3 years ago we were giving money on PowerPoint presentations. You have an idea, very good. 50 lakh de do usko jate ho baat. 2 crore de do. But then they all lost money, and now everybody is very wary about companies which have large audience base and losing money. I had a professor who came in and taught me about finance. 3-day workshop. He said, 2 minutes में finance सिखाया था. Finance is equal to the bow in minus the bow out. Rest all is just accounting. So if you're not making money, how do you generate revenue? What makes an entrepreneur successful? Is it the money he has built for himself, for the company, or is he built a brand? How can an entrepreneur who's starting raise those funds and be profitable? So,
for us, basically, we started around 3 years back when we started our developing of our operating system, and it took us around 2 years to raise the first fund. We got angel investors in the beginning in a span of 2 years. That there were times where we recruited software engineers because it was a very different thing what we were developing, because it was a totally a new OS. Nobody in India had worked on operating systems. We were working on an operating system developed for the Indian consumers on Indian languages. We had to have a language team, experts in language. We have an operating system in 13 languages right now, including Urdu, Hindi, Punjabi, Gujarati, Marathi, all the Indian languages. The full phone transforms into Indian languages. We have a swipe technology. We have a lot of technologies, are patented technologies we developed. So it took us a lot of time to meet the product people, the investors we met. They said, in the beginning when we developed this, yeah, very big scope. There are a lot of scope in India because B and C and D category towns where smartphone penetration is increasing. There is a scope for us, but where is the, how do you earn money? Or how will I have my return on investment? So that was one of the biggest questions, and where is your OS going in? So that time we cracked Micromax as our first brand to tie up, and in last 1.5 years we crossed around 7 million users. In Micromax we have around of 7 million phones. We explained them because our product was little unique and had a scalability option where we could earn a lot of revenue potential, revenue opportunities because they saw an ROI in our business. So it took us a long time for convincing them to get funding, but at last we got some funding. Now we are going in a very big way. We have our operations also started in Bangladesh. We are present with the brands in Bangladesh also. In India, we are already tied up with all the top 5 brands of Indian brands, not multinational or Chinese brands, but all the top 5 Indian mobile brands we are already tied up, and we are already present in those as our operating system. So it has been a difficult phase, but the investors, what we feel, see the scalability option and see if there is an ROI and whether it is affecting the consumers and the what Nikhil also told, the consumer, what are the number of users you have, an active users. So we have a good users. So the investors are seeing that there could be a return on investment from them. We will have some marketing and everything on our phone, and we can earn a lot of money. So that was one of the reasons why the investors came to us and invested in us.
Amandeep, instead of let's not talk about investors, let's talk about making real money. One is investors are taking money from not your mom, but somebody else's mom and dad, and convincing them to adopt you for a while, at least. But what about actually generating revenue? How difficult has it been? Have you looked at core revenue generation, any alternate channels to monetize and make the business self-sustainable?
Well, Nikhil, if you ask me, there is only one line that I believe in, and that is look British, think Yiddish. So whenever you are doing business, you have to be like miser. If someone is asking you for money, you don't just give away money. You have to think about it. What value is that money going to bring in? People come across and they ask me that, sir, you're operating a good plant, but we can add this machine over here, it's going to generate more returns, we'll add automation. But how useful is that if I'm paying you once a year for getting this machinery over here? Is that machinery actually adding value to my plant? Is it actually adding value to the company? That's how you have to think. But if there's incoming, if money is coming to your company, you never say no. That's one rule that you have to always believe in. And secondly, we are in an industry where we sell products. Of course, there is a profit margin that we keep on that product. But again, calculations have to be very precise. You have to know that of that profit margin that you're adding onto the product, you have to take out the cost of the plant that you set. You have to take out the cost of the marketing that you would be putting in. You have to take out the cost of the employees that you hired, the administrative expenses that you have, the overhead expenses. So it's all about planning everything in such a manner that you believe that every rupee that you're spending on manufacturing that product has been taken care of. And that's how you enter into a profitable situation. And what I simply believe that money brings in more money. So if you show a profitable proposal to any person, he would be very willing to invest into it. If you show a person that you're losing money, it's going to be hard money.
Thank you, Cesar. We've run out of time, so quick summary. To be an entrepreneur, you need to start with passion pretty much and trying to solve a problem which is worth solving. Along the way, you need other entrepreneurs who believe in your dream and join you. But to raise money and be profitable, you need to understand your consumer and keep trying to push the envelope and giving them a quality service, at the same time still keeping it, being extremely cost conscious and not trying to lavish offices yet until you hit the big time. So that's a little bit of what we had to share. A lot of you young people are here. I'm happy to say that I'm excited you guys are the future, and hopefully all of us will be coming to listen to one of you share your stories very soon. Thank you. Yes, please.
Sir, my question is from you that how do you build a successful customer base?
See, a couple of points. So we are in a very tricky business, I like to say कि हमारे हर घर में दो कस्टमर हैं. भाई साहब आपको गाड़ी पसंद बीवी को दे तो क्या पता भाभी जी को तकलीफ होगी. But on a more serious note, we are a very need-based service. It's not like guys getting bored. He goes to Amazon, buys a T-shirt, and I'm getting bored. I'll get a divorce. It doesn't happen. So first thing, although you can say there's a lot of marketing opportunity out there, try to at least go for the sweet spot, the low-hanging fruit. One, because of course it's more profitable. Secondly, you don't have very deep pockets, so you can't spend a lot of money. So also, a lot of part is also trying to figure out creating value beyond the product. I'll give you an example, okay? And I'm not saying this is a marketing tactic, but you must believe. So I personally ran a campaign for a lady called Tara Pal Gopal. She's a dancer living in Penary in Rajouri Garden. She came to us for legal advice, but in addition to that, I raised 8 lakh rupees for her on social media. We are fighting the case for Nirvaya's parents for free. In fact, the hearing is on today also to help get justice for Nirvaya. We will see advocates. So do things which people realize what you stand for, and even before they buy your product. And this is important, especially people buy into the brand's promise first. So try to figure out first is the low-hanging customer, the people who will give you the money. But then there are people you want to influence today. Hopefully, I have friends now, so these are big companies with big businesses, they will have big legal issues, and they will give all their money to me, hopefully going forward. Focus on people who actually need the service, where you can make an immediate impact, because that is what investors would look for. You can say, I succeeded in a very small way, but with a very small group of audience, sorry, in a very big way, but with a small group of audience, give me more money and I can do this across the country. Okay.
Sir, one more please.
Yes.
Sir, there was a small conversation between you and me at the stairs.
Yes.
And you said that you love to talk with the MBA students. You have a soft corner with the MBA students. So I just want to know that is there any incidents which happen with you? Like if you have any you have any point of view regarding the MBA students? So can you share these? I think it's
My brother's an MBA.
okay.
It's just that I don't hold it against him, by the way. He's my brother, I can't hate him for that. But I think I'm a tech. I got lucky to learn marketing, but it took me 15 years. And the point I made to you in the corridor, you'll learn it in 2. But the thing is, many times we believe that the minute we finish our MBA, we go out and start applying management principles and theory. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. My partner Rohan, who's the co-founder also, he took the phone calls of all the customers for 6 months personally. I talked to 2,000 lawyers personally. It's not that just because you own a small business, you say I'm going to depute everything. In fact, you can't depute anything unless you start. So I think the first thing is, although we've learned management as MBA, I think go down. It's like I love the hotel industry. You can be the topper, up rate to August starting. No work is too small. That's the only part. I wish you all the success. Any other questions? We done? Yes. Yes, please. Can I see a hand?
Good afternoon, everyone. So I understand that passion is really important for being an entrepreneur and being in this business. So in this era of being the best that you can be, has being an entrepreneur affected your personal life?
You want to ask? Who do you want to ask? Anyone? My personal life is fabulous. I come in at office at 2 o'clock. I leave at 8. I used to work in the agency business. I used to work 19-hour days. I saw colleagues die at 44. I quit the agency business after that. And I have a great personal life. I work very hard. Although you say 6 hours or 7 hours, I work like a maniac when I'm working physically. The rest of the time, all day I'm dreaming about the company. I write code on the way to work. In my mind, I think about what to, so I think about the business 24/7. In the agency business, our passion was fake when I was working. So I worked for Wheat Hair Removal Cream. To give you an example, I worked on hair removal cream, I worked on sanitary pads, condoms, Pepsi, cold drinks. I did not have passion, but I was forced to show love and affection to those brands. This is our baby. So I think if you say physical time, it might take for somebody 8 hours, somebody 10 hours. Mind share, 24 hours to go. You are driving, you are thinking about the company.